I just want to move on to Papua New Guinea, which is sort of my passion at the moment. Terry West set up Papua New Guinea for Crossroads, I think in 2010 or 11. Everyone in Papua New Guinea that I talk to knows Terry West. It's one word to them, Terry West. They don't just say Terry, it's always Terry West, Terry West. But he set all the prisons up and got them, a lot of prisons up, got them going. Then Terry left and Andy Powell came on, and then Andy left, and the ministry, I think, dwindled, and then COVID hit and it stopped completely. So last year, Jack Simpson and I visited PNG to dip our toe in the water and just see what could we get it started again. So yeah, the corrections are very keen for us to come back. They tell us in PNG, Terry reckons there's never been a Crossroads student re-offend in PNG. I find that hard to believe, but some of the chaplains there told me they've never had one re-offend. And the Deputy Commissioner, Michael Masiri, who's a Christian guy, very supportive, he told me it's not just the re-offending, has a huge impact on behaviour in prison. So anyway, so back in June, I went back to visit more prisons and set up another couple of prisons. So I visited Gili Gili prison on the eastern tip of PNG and Bahuti prison up in the Highlands. And they're now both going, they're sending lessons pretty much weekly. They do miss an odd week, but they're trying to send them weekly. That while I was in Goroka, where Bahuti prison is in the Highland, the chaplain and the coordinating guard, chaplain / guard, and the commander of another prison drove 1.5 hours each way to see me. And I visited them this time, they're just commencing Crossroads. So there's some good things happening there. While I was doing those, I think Maureen's got some photos to put up. I did attended a couple of graduation ceremonies while I was there. You'll see the photos. There's actually, in each prison, there's quite a few. Well, I think in Bahuti, he said there's another 20-odd inmates doing the course. That's at Gili Gili. 20-odd inmates doing the course that hadn't finished, so weren't eligible. Where he said, we'll do them next time. And here at Gili Gili, there was 8 or 10 who were unavailable at the time. So I know 1 or 2 guards who were doing the course that weren't available. They were working. And I think some of the students were unavailable too. They were on work duties or other, just couldn't come to that. Anyway, so that's what I did here last week. But something, again, interesting that happened. While I was up in the Highlands doing Bahuti, which I think will be the next picture. Yeah, that's at Bahuti. That's a lady receiving hers. I was staying at a hotel. One of the guy from head office who's in charge of welfare and rehabilitation in Papua New Guinea travelled with me. Eko Mengeri, some of you would have heard his name before. So he and I stayed at a hotel. Wow. Papua New Guinea is divided into 4 sections. So you've got a commissioner, then you've got 3 deputy commissioners, and then you've got 4 what they call assistant commissioners in charge of Northern Papua New Guinea, Southern Papua New Guinea, the Highlands, and the Islands. So while I was in the Highlands at Goroka, the Northern assistant commissioner, a guy named Felix Namane, he was in Goroka, nothing to do with me, he just was there on another matter, but he heard I was there and he came to my hotel to see me. So Echo came up and bashed on my door one evening and said, Alan, there's a guy who wants to see you, and he introduced me to Felix. Felix was in his northern region. He was for 10 years, he was the commander of quite a large prison. And he remembered Terry West very well. He said, when I was there, Terry West came, we set up Crossroads. Terry said that we were the best prison in PNG for our consistency with Crossroads when I was there. But he said, it's fallen apart now. And the new commander, who is under my authority, he said, he's not a big supporter of Crossroads. And he said to me, when are you coming back? And I said, well, I hope to be back in the new year, probably February. He said, okay, when you come back, I'm coming with you to visit my prisons, and we will make sure they're set up and they're operating however you want them to operate. So that's a big support to have that regional commander. And he's a great guy. On the Monday before I flew home after lunch on Monday. Again, I went to head office to see Mr. Masiri, the deputy commissioner, and that guy and a couple of the other regional commanders wanted to see me, but he reiterated again. When you get back here as quick as you can, we're going to set this up and get it going properly. We know the impact this has. And the other commissioners were very keen too. And one of them said, I'd like more oversight just to know exactly what's happening and that the prison is doing it. So the point I'm making is the doors are wide open into PNG. We really want to do it. But David's already told you it's a slow process. The guard, who's the coordinator in the prison, DH sends by courier to our Sydney office. We then post it to a mentor who posts it back, then by courier. So by the time a student gets a lesson or a mentor lesson back, they're halfway or more through the course. And we know that the power of the mentor lesson dissipates. These blokes have forgotten what the lesson was about when they get it that late. So, and the other problem is the cost. Our treasurer, Mike Hull, tells me the cost of one lesson with PNG is $9. So if we get suddenly got up to a lot of inmates, it'd be financially unsustainable, especially if they want me to go back and set up more and bigger prisons. So this is a great thing that the board is really working on. So, and what they want to do, what the board has decided they'd like in Papua New Guinea is to set up a facility, a central point in Port Moresby, where lessons can be received, scanned, and emailed directly to the office and then emailed to a mentor. So then emailed just the mentor lesson back. There's 8 pages to a lesson. I just think it's too much for them to print off in Port Moresby. And when we send a mentor letter back, we'd be killing rainforests. So not that I would be worried about it, but anyway, no, I shouldn't say that. But the downside of that is you'll no longer be able to write on the lesson itself. We'll just send the mentor letter back. But I think the advantages far outweigh the disadvantages. And I reckon doing that, like email, they're done in a second. We can hopefully get the delivery back to within a fortnight. We're pretty committed to getting that facility set up in PNG, and the committee have said to me, don't set up any more prisons in Papua New Guinea until we've established that.